Hello everybody, my name is Nopadan and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, we're going to be working on Soldat Sans Identite. Now you may be wondering, Notepad, why did you not stream yesterday? The reason I didn't stream yesterday because I was very tired and very sore, so I didn't feel like doing anything. And if you notice right now, it is way later than I usually stream because I was helping my mom cook dinner. And our brilliant idea to use our new pressure cooker was disastrous because we didn't read the directions right. So blame that. Dinner taking about 2 hours longer than it should, but hey, what do I know? But we are working on Soldat Sans Identite, and I've gotten a little bit done over time, just a smidge. I got a lot done. So last time on Dragon Ball Z, we were looking at combat quite a bit. Got combat to where I would like it. I had to rework some ideas. Pretty much I split combat into two major ideas, being major conflicts and paths of destruction. Paths of destruction are your rip tear through mooks, minions, and all those jazz, while a major conflict is your traditional fight, quote unquote, against people who are roughly on your same caliber. The core idea is that you only have a single action, but you can spend your energy to get more actions. Which, say for example, you want to do one additional action, you spend one energy. You want to do a third action, so you have your free action. You spent one for a second, and then you're going to spend two for that, so you spent three in total. You want to do a fourth action, you're going to have to spend four for it, and kind of spend three for it, and so on and so on. Just to kind of encourage people to not really abuse that system, because again, if you rapidly lose all your energy, you're not going to be rolling very high dice for anything, so you end up kind of in a shitty situation. That's kind of my goal in that regard, is to make sure that people kind of understand that fighting isn't always just rushing in there, headlong and swinging. While things like I managed to fix this up relatively okay. Defend is kind of jank still, just because I wanted that mechanic in there, but I didn't quite know how to best add it, so I added it as you just roll extra d6s, which can be quite a few successes if you have a high enough skill on it. Ranged attacks were kind of my problem child. Melee attacks still kind of fill what I want them to do, where you are doing a decent chunk of damage to a single part, but it's very much reliant on your skill and the overage successes you actually roll. So if you only succeed by one success, you're not going to be doing that much damage, versus if you succeed by like two or three, which you might be able to slice someone's arm off. Melee is more risky going forward because you have to get in there, and it's a lot more easier to calculate in that way, while range attacks a lot flightier and a lot simpler to do. You want to do range combat because that has good guns. And fun fact for everyone, shooting someone in the face is a lot more effective than not shooting them. So let's see, burst fire and full auto, those are really the only two. It kind of depends on also what weapon you're using. Trail of destruction, I just cut down the list. Titanfall. I did put in space distance mechanics here, but I do have SD to grids, as usual. And did put in a basic idea of cover. Pretty much you can just put damage onto your cover instead, which is very nice in case you don't want to die. Cybernetic Autarky, the name of the stream, actually is based off equipment. Now, equipment was kind of difficult because all the games that I have using dice pool are medieval, i.e. just Monster Girl Adventures, while a lot of the ones that I have large extensive guns for aren't dice pools at all. So there comes a moment of back and forth with that, so I ended up having to kind of take the easy way out and have to rewrite all of my guns. But I did end up using all of the weapons from MGA pretty easily. As you can see, not bod. Why is that bod? It's fee. This is why you reread everything, kids. So, again, we have all our basic weapons. I did add the machete and the baton. That's kind of their own things to do. Obviously, the baton has concealable. It's a mace. While firearms are the other big one. Now, firearms I had to kind of simplify rather than the kind of more extensive system I used in things like some standard issue science fiction, Where the Light Fades Softly, or even Hearts of Darkness. I had to simplify that system quite drastically. So I took the lists from standard issue science fiction and converted it to this. Pretty much accuracy is the amount of successes that you just have to work with starting. To actually hit someone with the weapon, like an energy light machine gun, you have an accuracy of -3. That means you have to get at least 4 success. You have to get a bunch of successes to even be successful with it. Which is why you want to use things like full auto or burst fire to kind of mitigate those problems. While if we go down here, something like the designated marksman rifle, you have a free success on, because again, if you can actually hit them, you're going to be able to hit them. Not exactly that big of a thing to think about. That's kind of how I'm balancing it, one may say. And if we scroll down here, we have our handguns. So if we go right here, so effectively, all the weapons do a base amount of damage if you hit. So if we go up to, we'll just use our rifles. Let's say I shoot someone with a kinetic carbine, and I hit them. I'm going to do 2d6 plus 2 damage to them, plus how many successes I have on them. So if they rolled 3 successes, I rolled 4, I'm going to do 2d6 plus 3 damage to them. That doesn't seem like a lot, and you're right. However, outside the fact of I have a huge range advantage on them by chance, I also have ammunition, in which case I can use said ammunition to pretty much say how many shots I have left to actually shoot them. You may be wondering, but what about your battle rifle having only 3 ammunition? This is you kind of just shooting. I needed to balance it out somehow. The main... Actually, I'm going to bump that up by 1. That's a good idea. The main key difference between all of these is whether or not your energy or kinetic damage just does damage, while energy actually reduces a sea soldier's armor. Not armor, energy. That's very good when dealing with sea soldiers, because again, if they don't really have high energy, that means they don't really have high ability to do damage to you or act, and you can take them out of the fight. So that's kind of, you have to manage your health bar in kind of 2 different ways. If you have no energy, obviously you're not going to be able to do anything. You're shutting down effectively. While on the other hand, if you lose all your health, you can still stay in the fight a little bit longer until your head and your chest are destroyed, and then in which case you cease to exist because you are dead. So that's kind of the back and forth on that. I wanted it to be a little bit more exciting, dare I say. A little bit more in your face, a little bit higher, how do I word this? Higher octane, you could say. I didn't want it to be just like, all right, roll dice. Okay, you hit, do this damage. So you have to kind of decide, like, oh, I want to get really close to them so I can just do burst fire. Or, hey, you know what? I want to stay far away and start chipping away at them. So it's kind of that way of doing things. It's not flawless, but I think it works. Another famous line on this. Let's see. Armor and explanation on that. And here's what I actually planned on doing. So I'm going to actually continue working on equipment. So again, this section is called Cybernetic Autarky for a reason, because everything is going to be here when it comes to it. So we want to go to we need to go to armor first. Lucky for us, that means I already have a section on armor that I can just quickly use. Normal text, Bato. To armor is the only thing getting shredded when the character dons the armor type or affects the location's protected value. Add armor value of the armor to the location. The armor value is an initiative penalty. Detective head to toe, and they'll be taking -14 to initiative and maneuvers. They take 8 less damage at our location. Mixing and matching. They have heavy helmet, light limb armor, medium torso. They have -5 to it. So yeah, I think this works pretty well. I should put that as gut. Actually, yeah, torso. Weights. Actually, I don't need the weights, do I? Actually, as a side note, walking into the town in full riot gear will inevitably draw a few glares from onlookers. See soldiers in armor, or soldiers first, and civilians second. Alright, perfect. And then we want to go standard issue science fiction, go to vehicles. And speed, type of propulsion. Now we get to go for the fun, exciting world of vehicle autism. So how do we want to do this? So that would be an average. So an average success is 2 successes. This is 4 successes. There we go. Yeah, hello phone. What do you need today, phone? I deafen my audience. Remind me later. I'll do my Chinese lessons later. And we want to do target number 2, 3. Actually, we're going to do that. Yeah. Yeah, do we want to do just stacking? Yeah, we'll do it just stacking 2, 3, 4. And vehicle modifiers. There's 1. Actually, it'd be +1 difficulty. 1. Actually, if I'm going to be doing that, I want to actually decrease those. +2 difficulty. The same difficulty as failed second time, then moving 1 hull from the vehicle and stopping immediately. Finally, the vehicle determine my hull rating, which is the number of explosive rounds a tank shot made on 0 hull. But what can we do? The vehicles did. All occupants are killed if they did not already escape. Speed. Types of propulsion. With the advancement in technology. And we want to go to Roboto. Doma arigato, Mr. Roboto. Tomo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Boop, 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 a beep. Archivo. Wait, why are you Archivo? Roboto. And let's see, legged isn't land. Alright, so we've got the best part about writing something already is that you don't have to worry about it going forward. Power scooter. Bigger scooter with a motor. For the real badass. Actually, what I should do. I'm gonna take out tanks. I don't feel that's really needed. And keep in light war machines. That's fairly, and then we have, yeah, we'll keep the converted vehicle, various converted vehicles and civilian full size. Yeah. And then we have sidecar, G anti-vehicle, the air. Perfect. So scroll all the way up. Hit this. Cybernetic Autarky. And then we have gear. Alright, now we get to move on to some of the fun stuff, otherwise known as other things that we get to add. So what we get to see is cybernetics implants. Sea soldiers are mostly comprised of metallic parts. The majority of their body being made up of synthetic materials and metal. As a sea soldier adapts to civilian life. As a sea soldier adapts to the non-military lifestyle, they may choose to adopt a different cybernetics to increase their effectiveness, or replace limbs that have been blown off. Alright, so I feel like we already have something like this, but I have a feeling I'm also going to have to rewrite this entire thing by myself. Yay! Standard issue. Do I have something like this? Yeah, no, that's nothing of value. And I know I don't have anything there. Do I seriously have nothing on, like, really in-depth cybernetics? No, I don't. Huh. Alright, guess. Well, golly gee, everybody, I guess we're writing an entire section on cybernetics. Okay. And we're going to go to this, Soldat Sans Identite. Google Sheets, and we're going to start working on things. So, cybernetic limbs. And just so I can cross-reference things a lot easier, I'm going to open up a second working document. And we're going to go to Flesh and Wires. 25, 35, 25, 25. What do I call it? Health. Cybernetic quality, health, armor. Well, and we'll split these up into the generics. So these will be low performance, actually the skeleton limb, average endurance, high endurance, super heavy, actually human eye, flesh, or metal. Roboticized. No, we're going to go with tank suit. Tank. Blenders. Blender limb. Military surplus. $15 additional armor, 3 armor on top of we're giving 4 armor, and it's gonna look metal as fuck. Super heavy at 10, 3. It's gonna look metal, flesh or metal. Armor, it's going to have 1 additional armor, it's going to have 5 additional health. Blender limb's going to have 0 additional health, 0 armor. It's going to have -5 health. It's going to look like skeleton limb's going to have -10 health, 0 armor, and it's going to look entirely metallic. Standard issue. 0, 0, flesh or metal. And we're going to go to data, create a filter. Filter. Generic limbs. These cybernetics have no calling cards or effective tools outside what has been integrated. has been integrated. However, they serve as decent replacements with no drawbacks. Many. With few drawbacks. Paste unlinked. Table property, gray, middle, center alignment, okay. And we want to switch you to Roboto. And we want to look to standard issue. Okay, I'll see soldiers start with standard issue limbs. And now we get to go into the real weird stuff. Let me just do a double check on everything. Okay. So we want to actually, what would be a good way? No, I don't think I have anything exactly. So we're going to do with cybernetic arms, weapon limb, actually integrated melee arm, integrated ranged arm, shield arm. So actually we'll do health, armor, flesh or metal, and hand. Do you actually have a hand? And then we'll do bonus. Shield arm. What's another good? Oh. Good old-fashioned tentacle, because what's the fun? What's the fun of... combat claw. Multi-arm. What are some other fun ones I can think of? Oh, extendo arm. Oh, I know, the auto arm. Multi-tool hand. And we'll work with that for now. Integrated melee arm, obviously it's going to have +5. That's going to have 5 health, 5 additional health in the range arm, 0 armor, 5 additional health, 1 additional armor. Flesh or metal, this is going to look metal, this is going to look metal, this is going to look metal. No hand there, no hand there, no hand there. Fully integrated. Weapon of choice cannot be disarmed. Cannot be disarmed unless arm is broken. Actually, arm is... what's the correct term? Crippled. Crippled / destroyed. Ranged weapon of choice cannot be disarmed unless arm is crippled / destroyed. And there we go. We'll just give a shield arm. Literally just have +2 armor. Actually, negates 1 melee attack every round. Actually, you know what? Negate one attack every round. Tentacle 0, armor 0, metal, hand no. Actually, yes. The character's arm is replaced with a tentacle-like limb, and that extends around 5 feet, around 6 feet. It is very obvious. Combat Claw, 0 health, 0 armor, flesh or metal, hand yes. It has a permanent Combat Claw weapon attached. That does. Let's go to. Scroll up. Does fizz +1 damage. That does fizz +1 damage. Fizz +1 damage. Multi-arm. -5 health, 0 armor, flesh or metal. Flesh or metal. It does look ridiculous either way. Yes. It has 2 separate arms where they would normally have 1. Extendo arm. -5 health, 0 armor. Actually, we'll do -1 armor. So any armor you have on it's going to be just reduced by a little bit by virtue of it being a weird extendo arm. Actually, what I can do that if I'm doing that, yeah. And character's arm can. In direction. Yes. Character's arm can be detached and give it simplistic orders which it will attempt to fulfill. T2 hand. -5, 0 armor. Primarily metal. And yes. Hand quickly becomes a Swiss Army tool equipment. Granting the Sea Soldier +1d6 on any technical roll when using the hand. Oh, this is going to be fun to fix. Oh, this is going to be really fun to fix. Oh, please, God, kill me. Shrink the armor down. I can shrink the health down. I can switch you down just a smidge. That means I can move you across, and that means... extend you out a little. Melee weapon. A melee weapon of choice can not be disarmed. Tentacle-like limb. And table properties. Center, middle, black. Oh Christ! I didn't alphabetize it. No. Let's see. Let's see if this works. So if I keep everything exactly the way it is, hit that. Oh, thank Christ. Yeah, I can live with this. Middle, center. Now you may be wondering, why Notepad are you doing that? Why don't you just go in there and just hit your auto button up there? It's literally because this game, Google Docs hates it when you do that, especially that little add-on I have. It's just like, no, that's not how it works. A ranged weapon of choice cannot be disarmed. Tentacle-like limb. Also, if you think I'm not going to put a picture of Dr. Octopus in there, you are wrong. Because I am. I'm totally going to put a picture of Dr. Octopus in there, because Dr. Octopus is the greatest Spider-Man villain. Don't at me. Let's see. Data, turn off filter, and we're going to now work with cybernetic legs. And since we don't really have to worry about hands anymore, runner leg, hopper legs. Let's see. What are some crazy cybernetic leg idea? Oh, booster legs. Actually, runner leg, hopper leg, booster leg, integrated melee leg, spider walker. Actually, what I should say. Single or both. Mermaid. Predator. Actually, what I can. Runner, hopper, booster, integrated melee leg, spider walker, mermaid, predator. Steel-toed boot. Rocket kicker. All right. Runner, -5 health, 0. Actually, -1 armor. It's going to look entirely metal, and this does apply single or both. Bonus. Character gains +1 success on their initiative. Hopper, -5 health, -1 armor. It looks flesh or metal. Single or both. Character gains a +1 success. Actually, is able to leap 5/10 feet. Actually, it'd be 5/10 feet higher in the air. Like, you don't think, like, oh, launching yourself 5 feet in the air is, like, an accomplishment, but that's on top of everything. So if, like, your average is, like, about 5, that means you are literally leaping across buildings, or being able to ricochet yourself across things, depending on what integrations you have. So, boosters, negative 109 health, you literally, your leg explodes. -2 armor. Metal, single or both. Character is able to move +1, move 1 additional SD for free. Integrated melee leg and integrated melee. Single. The 11 of choice unless leg is crippled/destroyed. Spider Walker. We have 5 additional health, 0 additional armor. This is going to look metal. Both legs only. Character has ability to crawl on sheer surfaces. On sheer surfaces with ease. Mermaid. -5, -1 armor. Flesh. Both. Character's swim speed, movement speed in water is doubled, but halved on land. The character gains a +2d6 to all stealth checks. +1d6/2d6. Actually, we're going to make it a 3d6 to all stealth checks. Two additional armor and metal single, so you can. But both the character gain. Actually, has a permanent. Steel-toed boot. Attach that does. What would be a good? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Steel-toed boot weapon attached. That does fizz +2, fizz +1. I have the memory of it. Fizz +1 and the stun tag, and the stun 1 tag, and a rocket kicker. -10 health, -1 armor, metal. Single. The character can empower a melee attack, and unarmed melee attack, and add an additional 5d6 plus 5d6 to their attack. Cripples the leg. Yeah, welcome to the rocket kicker, where you literally kick and break your leg as you just snap it with the force of energy of just kicking someone directly in the face. It's pretty dramatic, and that's the point. Sleepy boy. Sleepy boy. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the easy way out of doing this, and we want to select cybernetic arms before Control C, Control V, Control C, select everything here. Actually, do I select everything? Yes. And Control B. There we go. And we select everything here. Right click, table and properties, center, middle. There we go. Actually, a melee weapon of choice is, unless the leg, unarmed, initiative. Actually pop open my... It's pretty late at night, so obviously I'm gonna start drinking coffee. Ah, that feels good. Stretching a little bit. Feel my back's been tensed up a lot lately. I think I've just been sleeping weird. And now we have to work on gut. Cybernetic gut / torso, health, metal, flesh, single, both. We don't really have to worry about that. We have our bonus. Oh, yeah. Internal cavities. -5 health, 0 armor. Flesh. Character has large section, has a section of storage inside of their chest for easy access. Second heart implants. +5 health. Actually, yeah, +5 health, 0 additional armor. Flesh. It has a second heart. Second heart. Again, a +1 to initiative. Well, initiative checks. Dermal plating. Health 10, armor 2, metal. The character, it's literally you just have a giant slab of plating on your chest. back memory core 00 metal characters internal data process are backed up in a black box. If their chest is destroyed, they do not lose any programs. Auto resuscitator 50 metal implanted in the character's chest is an auto resuscitator that immediately regains double the energy during reboot. Can only reboot once. Actually, what I should say is cannot enter sleep mode. Cannot enter enter sleep mode. Cannot enter sleep mode. What would be another good cybernetic implant for the chest? Nah, let's go with this. Keep it nice and simple. I don't know why I keep selecting it knowing I'm going to do this. And we want to delete column. And then we want to paste. Perfect. Table properties, black on black. Delete 4 rows. Perfect. And finally, we're going to do with the cybernetic head. Hunter head. Chameleon. Hunter faceless. Networker. Lockjaw. linker. Access linker. 0 armor. Metal. Gains plus 3d6 to all checks. For all perception checks. Faceless, 5 health, 2 armor, metal. But you are literally a faceless monster that wants nothing more than to kill you. Networker, -5, -5 health, -1 armor, metal. Short distance and long distance radio signals. In the vicinity. Lockjaw. We're going to go with 5 health, 0 armor, metal. And where are you? Vicinity. From steel to this permanent has a permanent lockjaw weapon. That does I'll do Fizz +2. That does Fizz +2 and the Pierce 1 tag. Fangs 0, 0, flesh. Which has a permanent fangs weapon. Attached that does Fizz +1. Direct linker, -5 health, -1 armor, flesh or metal. Actor has a direct link installed in their head, granting them a plus 2d6 to all hacking or computer use checks. -10 health, -2 armor, flesh or metal. Character has a access link installed in their head, granting them a plus 4d6 to all hacking or computer use checks. Actually, that should just be metal. You may be saying, wow, that's a lot of metal. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, hell, these are cybernetics for a reason. Guts. And we want to do data, create a filter. That actually turned out pretty well. Oh, no, Control C. What happened to Lockjaw? Okay, we're going to insert a row below. Insert row below. And insert row below. Select everything again and Control V. There we go. We want to select everything. We want to select Roboto. Table properties, middle. I thought I had something on me, and bada bing, bada boom. Yes, okay, cool. It looks like everything fit right. So what I'm going to do here is we want to change all this to 4 if I remember correctly. No, this would all be 3. God, I'm praying it's 3, or else I'm going to do this all over again. Oh, God. Yes, it is cool. And so, if we go back here to Soldat Sans Identite, hit you. Boom. Got all our cybernetics. What I'm also going to do right here is I'm going to select literally everything. And change everything to Roboto. Perfect. Alright, so we got all of our cybernetics done. We got all our vehicles done. Let's see. What else are we looking to do for equipment? Nothing. I don't think we need anything more for equipment. Alright. So, what are we going to be doing next time? Next time we're going to be working on probably the next 2 sections. The political game, social contracts, which is going to be kind of the method to allow characters kind of influence the world a little bit more directly, as well as kind of like the impromptu GM's guide, and giving the idea of what joining a faction looks like, and what are factions made of, how do they function, a lot more of the broad speaking of the idea, and kind of like what they would give. This is where your programs, your initial programs, cores, and subroutines are going to be located. I may put all of those into the equipment section. I'm kind of going back and forth because they're kind of, again, tied to the game you're trying to play. So I don't want to give players the idea of like, oh, well, I can immediately get this core. I can already get this subroutine. That's fine. Like, no, not quite. And then after that, enemies and threats, I'm going to stat out some very basic enemies, as well as a few kind of like what a generic sea soldier looks like, what a receiver looks like, what kind of like what a generic mook might look like, what is kind of like a higher tier kind of human enemy looking like. Just kind of the basic idea of like, these are the kind of enemies you're going to be fighting and what they look like and how they operate. Because there's going to be a little bit of a asymmetrical nature to this game. Most notably, asymmetry-wise, is going to be the goon squads. And mook rules are pretty common. I think I know how to do them. I'm just going to steal from MGA. But, yeah, that'll be a fun and exciting adventure to handle. But, alright. After that, we get to move on to settings and situations. Effectively, what it's going to be is going to be a blurb about what the setting looks like. And probably about 5 factions, each with their own little, like, this is what we want. This is how we plan on getting it. This is, this is something good about us, and this is something bad about us. To kind of give players the understanding of, like, okay, this is kind of the situation. And how people choose to approach it's kind of up to them. So our actually 6 ideas for settings is we have the Midwest Confederation. The Midwest Confederation, the entire idea of that is Second American Civil War and the Midwest broke free, and it's kind of stuck between these Pacific Union states and kind of the traditional Union states. This is what I would consider the default setting for Soldat Sans Identite. And you kind of have to deal with this, like, what is this kind of weird nation in the middle of everything? Where do they lean? Because they need assistance from either side, but they don't quite know who to work with. So, and you're kind of stuck in the middle and kind of trying to deal with that. Black Shirt London, a pretty bog standard, what if Mosley took over to the UK, but I'm going to go a little bit hardcore on it. Just because Oswald Mosley is a weird fucking dude, and having ideas like the black shirts, red shirts, and kind of London in chaos would be kind of an interesting idea. Or kind of like a 30 years after, you know, the World War II that was averted, because mostly what's London looking like, what's Britain looking like. Dreaming in Johannesburg is going to be kind of an odd one, because that's going to be like strictly kind of like a more cyberpunky one. You know, and in the bleak future of 1983, you know, everyone is too busy being ravers. Lots of conflict, lots of wars. Kind of Johannesburg being your centralized location, as you are pretty much mercenary sea soldiers going out and kind of the conflict, fighting for what you believe. You know, fighting in these theaters of war across Africa, as you yourself try to gain your own identity through all of this. The New Warring States is kind of a what if World War II ended differently, as I like doing, because it's probably the easiest to actually do. As you can tell by the Warring States, is Operation Downfall occurred, if I remember that's the correct name, where the U.S. invaded Japan, and with sea soldiers, obviously, leading to a very complicated issue with part of Japan getting split between the Soviets, some kind of going to America. There's a setting called Tokyo Nova, which I'm going to be cribbing a lot from, with that idea of just kind of you have these various kind of micro states in Japan all fighting for their own identity, and you're, again, obviously sea soldiers, Japanese sea soldiers, kind of going around choosing who deserves to win, who deserves to not win. White, red, and black Russia, pretty obvious. It's a massive Russian civil war breaks out. If I want to, I could probably do it more Trotsky-esque, or just do it like post-1970, or kind of the post-revolution, and kind of play around with that idea a little bit more. I don't quite know how I want to do that. I might ask around. And then we have the 4 Germanys. Oh no, what if the Nazis won World War II? And based off I can't remember, it's a Hoi 4 mod. Based off that, with things like Strasser's Germany, Göring's Germany, and a bunch of these other kind of weirdo wackos at the death of good old Hitler. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I have a few ideas of how I want to do it, but again, it's a lot of ideology, a lot of thinking, a lot of how do we actually want to do this, and fighting over the idea of, well, what is the right way of doing this? Is there a right way of doing it? And that's kind of the point I want to get across. Well, thank you all for watching. I know this wasn't exactly a pulse-pounding stream of me going on long-winded rants, but I do plan on wrapping this up relatively soon. I'm making a wild guess that this is probably going to be about 4 more sessions of me going through. It really depends on how the political game and social contracts and stuff work, because if they work well and it goes pretty fast, it's going to be yippee-ki-yay awesome, and everything will go real fast after that. If it doesn't, it might drag on a little bit long. We'll just be stuck on that little section. But again, I want factions to be important. That's kind of going into this. I want it to be kind of the political game to be a little bit more important than in others. So hopefully that works out. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. And Godspeed and good luck. Goodbye, everyone.